Welcome to this video on the Mercury sliding gate operator. Essentially a domestic 24 volt sliding gate operator. The model we use in Australia is designed for gates up to 600 kilo. The one that we're using here for demonstration purposes is actually only a 300 kilo model. So if you're astute enough to notice how small the motor is, this is the 300 kilo model that sells, interestingly enough, quite well in Europe, and which is really quite odd because the Europeans make their gates a lot heavier than what we do. But anyway, that's another story. We use the 600 kilo version here, and the one on demonstration is the 300 kilo. The other point I'll make before we begin is that the test rig itself is loaded with about 350 to 400 kilo. So we're actually testing this motor, and all the demonstration is done well over its capacity, probably anywhere from 20 to 30% more than it should ever do. That doesn't concern me, of course. It's a motor by Sayer, and Sayer have always been quite conservative. When I saw this being tested in Italy, they were actually testing it with 800 kilo on it. So that gives you some idea of the way Sayer look at their operators and the way that they build them. So the 300 kilo version was being tested with 800 kilos on its back, and it just goes day and night, just continuously goes, and it's passed all the tests. It's as an operator, it's fairly typical of Sayer. It's well built. Sayer produced most of their components in-house. We've got the aluminium base there, and the standard sort of plastic hardtop cover. Just a quick one. It confused me for a little while. There was no exposed screws, so actually to remove the cover had me totally confused for a short bit, until I realised that if you open the manual release lever there in the front, the securing screw is actually behind the manual release lever. A very small security point, but gee, really quite clever, and adds a degree of security to the installation. So points to Sayer for doing that. The other thing we've had done for the operators into Australia is we've insisted on the new DG board. When I say new to Australia, been around quite some time in Europe, and just such a breeze to program. We've been using them on the swing gates for quite some time, and so this is a single gate version designed for 24 volts, and it just makes things so very easy. Typically we've been making these videos both for you, the customer, and also for our own people in training, and we've been expanding them out to about half an hour. I actually found this motor difficult to make a video last half an hour, given that I'm trying to point out the key little bits in there, perhaps tips and tricks, things that I found that were a little bit quirky. I've already told you the only quirky thing I found was that the cover release screw is behind the manual release, so and that was a positive. So it was always going to be difficult to make a half-hour video. Couple of other points. It does have an oil bath gearbox, which is interesting in a motor of if you like this that sits in this bracket in the marketplace. It would be the only one that I know of that does have that. So it's built for longevity, and I think if you install this this operator, you'll go for years and years. You can also connect to solar if you wish, or obviously you can connect battery backup, being a 24 volt. So a number of options as far as power is concerned, and yeah, I think it's going to sell very, very well, particularly at the pricing. The kit comes with 2 remotes and a set of photo cells, so built-in receiver, all ready to go. Right, let's have a look at just how it comes out of the box and what you get out of the box. So we go back a step a little bit here. Now that looks to me like a set of photo cells. Here we've got the receiver and 2 remotes. Quite nice remotes too, what they call the Conchinella remotes, or I commonly call them ladybird remotes. They're really quite a nice remote control. There you can see one there. Instruction manual. So you've got one for the motor itself and one for the board. There's a base plate, a bolt down base plate, so if you can choose to concrete that in if you wish, and your bag of accessories, your limit actuators and things like that. And we'll lift the motor out. And there you go. That's pretty much the side you saw before. Sitting there on the rig, we turn it around and you can see the pinion there. The pinion's got a cover. You got your limit actuators there. Everything all in place. If we open this up, we'll pull out the manual override screw, manual override key. We'll open that door. There you go. And there is the single solitary screw that holds that cover on and really secures your whole project. So if we grab a screwdriver and just simply take out that screw, from there we can remove the cover, and there you see that little baby 300 kilo motor I was telling you about. Extraordinarily powerful for such a small motor. But of course, any model that you buy in Australia, the motor is a lot larger because it is rated at twice the capacity. You've got the control board there on the side with the plastic cover, which is always handy, keeps out your all your bugs and your snails and things like that, all those sort of things that can spell disaster for a control board. And that's the DG1 24 volt control board sitting there, all pretty much all in one package. So neat and tidy, everything you need in one box. Do and install 2 remotes, set of photo cells, wireless receiver, and yeah, you're pretty much ready to go. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at some of the basics, like bolting down our operator. We all know that the motor needs to be securely fastened. All of these boards are looking for any form of incorrect or extraordinary movement, and of course, if your motor shifts or twists with the torque that it develops in startup and things like that, you know, that will create what the board sees as incorrect movement, and it'll introduce faults into your system. So just ensure that you're fastening to your concrete pad or to your base plate is well and truly secure. On that note of the torque and the torque twisting the motor, this motor, or this control board, has probably the most remarkable soft start that I've ever seen in a gate operator. either of this caliber or of the much more expensive industrial ones, where you pay for that sort of technology. The soft start on this, which is programmable, if you get deep into programming, you can change the percentages of soft start and things like that. It's really quite extraordinary to watch. So you don't have that vicious inrush of torque. So we're looking there at that board. Now you can see a little yellow loop in there. That's the only loop that I had to put in to program it. So the board does not need any other wiring. That is the edge loop. If you do not put it in, nothing will occur. Okay, it's all to do with European safety regulations. It's the one thing which must be hardwired. We'll take that. It's just a push button I have been using for testing. We'll take that out of the way so you can get a better look at things. So we've bolted down our motor, we've got our rack all set, and we've got it running nicely backwards and forwards. We'll actually physically put it into the position that we want it now. So we'll unlock the operator, slide it backwards and forwards, make sure that we've got no tight spots, we've got a nice even sort of a flow, that our rack's not binding up anywhere in particular, that our limit actuators are making contact with the spring, and then back again. And then what we're going to do is we'll lock it around about 1 metre to 1.5 metres away from the fully closed position, and then don't let it pick it up. See, I locked it in there by just moving it until the gearbox locked into place. Okay, programming. Now this is one of the simplest procedures you're ever going to see. You've got an LCD panel there, and it's just a matter of putting it into program mode and moving through the selections until you get what you want. So there we go. Number 1 is language. We can change the language. If you don't like English, you can go for Italian, Spanish and many others. Transmitter programming. We do want to program our transmitters in, so we'll simply press start. It will tell us to press a button on the transmitter, and then it's stored. We're going to do another one. Press the button again, we go to end. Now we're moving through. You see number 3 is motor selection. Number 4 is reverse. So if we wanted to reverse our open and close direction, we can. We can choose the different logics. At number 6 we can choose pause settings. Start and pause. There's a heap of programming options. Now we found a program. So we simply press yep and on. The gate starts to close. Going in slow mode now, just looking for its end limits. Found a limit. Now stand back and take a look, and then starts to reopen. So it will close to the close limit. It then reopens. It goes all the way to the open limit, and then it will simply reverse and reclose. At the end of that, programming will be complete. If the gate did not start to close first up, in other words if it opened first, you would simply remove power and use that reverse function in the programming to reverse your motor direction. You would then reprogram. No wires to change, just simply use the reverse motor. It reverses everything for us, and then we can reprogram. So that's the end of our programming. You see it come to the end here on the board. And that's it. That is all I did. I put in one loop, I did that programming, and that is the unit is ready to go, complete with remote controls. We're going to step back until we hit end, enter for end, and we're back and we're ready to do all of our testing. Look, this board's got 3 different levels of programming. That is a very basic programming. You can go to advanced programming, and you can also, there's a menu option there where you can check your inputs, the operation of your inputs, like photo cells and starts and things like that. Let's test the operation. Use our newly programmed Ladybird remote, and there she goes. She's off. Now we Probably didn't notice a soft start there, but we'll run it a few times so you'll get to see it. You've got a beautiful slowdown also. Yeah, you see it, look at that. Slows down perfectly. All of this is fully programmable. You can change the speed of the operator, you can change the length, the delays obviously, you can change the length of time for slowdown, the length of time for startup, the amount of speed for slowdown, the amount of speed for startup. But this is straight out of the box. So we haven't done anything to this as it stands. We've just simply taken it straight out of the box and put in our loop and programmed it. So you could effectively do the same. Bolt down your operator, get your rack all nice and neat and tidy. Make sure you've got your stops in, obviously, and that's your wiring and your programming complete. So as you can see, programming is realistically a matter of minutes. So it's the Mercury moving off again till fully closed. And you watch this lovely slowdown it's got. There we go, look at that, just eases in. There's no pressure on anything. I think it's definitely a winner. If you have a look at this operator and have a look at the price, value for money, it really sort of tends to you might pay a few dollars more, but gee, the quality that's built into this control board, into that gearbox, into that motor is something quite exceptional. So thank you for having a look at this. If you've got any other questions regarding the Mercury, please give any of the guys a call. If they don't know, they'll contact me, and we'll do everything we can to sort you out. Thanks very much.